All right. Nah. What we got today, Mr. Shall we make a movie? It sure is not. Oh, there we go.
Hello all.
What's happening?
It's nice to be back in front of camera again. This is a type of news. I'm Dutch Freeman.
I am Bruce Robinson.
Now listen.
Listen.
We have full-time ministers in cabinet right now, yeah?
How many full-time ministers we got, Mr. Robinson? Freeman?
Look, stick to... Don't be revealing my name.
My bad.
Actually, you can, I don't care. But I believe it's upwards of 9.
9?
I'm pretty certain. Now, don't quote me. I wasn't prepared to answer that question, but my main point is that a full-time minister makes upwards of $100,000 a year.
Significantly upwards of $100,000.
Yeah.
Some of those ministers are making almost $200,000 on that.
So I just want to pose a question for anyone viewing. If you are paying someone $100,000 to dedicate the full time to a job, yeah, upwards of $100,000. I'm just gonna give it right there. Upwards of $100,000 for the full-time service to you for doing a job. Would you want that person to then take on a part-time job as well? Or, because if you want somebody to do a full-time job in a full-time capacity, as in other words, dedicate all the time to said job for upwards of $100,000, I'm pretty certain you want them to do everything down to the T, not taking on part-time jobs that might distract or detract from their work that they give you.
Mm-hmm.
So, we have a health minister named Ms. Kim Wilson.
Yes, we do.
Who wants to take on cases while she's being paid full-time to service the people of Bermuda. And I say, I don't give a rat's tail, hoo-ha, whatever, if it was OBA or PLP. I don't want to pay anybody full-time who's not going to give me full-time work. And you can't sit here and tell me that full-time work means I can take part-time on the side. Yes, our citizens can to maintain our households. Sometimes our citizens who are not making $100,000 have to take second jobs, even though we're working full-time to make ends meet, yes?
Make less than $100,000
so,
in some cases.
Yeah, it shouldn't be up to me doing a full-time job with a part-time job and paying her to do full-time work.
But here's a question. What exactly is the health minister working against?
Oh, interesting that you should ask.
Yeah, that's a good one. Why don't you tell me that?
Yeah, that's interesting. So, of course, our government always seeks to make us a global laughingstock, actually. And they've done so well at it in the last 50 odd years that I think we've just become permanently a laughingstock. So, at this point, we have our health minister who's being paid full-time, taking on a case of those who oppose same-sex marriage and choosing to represent them in their appeal against the Supreme Court's ruling.
So she's supporting preserved marriage.
Well, it's not preserved.
Well, not preserved, but she's supporting, them
opponents of same-sex.
Okay,
yes.
And also
Maxwell Burgess.
Okay, but under my understanding, I thought, they already had enough leadership from the PLP with Mr. Wayne Ferbert leading that charge. So if Wayne Ferbert, who is not a cabinet member, wants to do that, go ahead. I'm not going to tell you not to do that because, you're right in your rights to do that. However, isn't that enough?
Well, I think it becomes more of a tie-in to our last video where we need to hold ourselves accountable for what we allow in our government house. Case in point, we voted the OBA out as a people, and I say we, even if you voted in pro for OBA, we as a people, united, collectively, as Bermudians, voted the OBA out. Regardless of what your individual vote was, that was the deciding vote. So we as a people voted the OBA out because those who were proponents of that vote felt as though the OBA was only servicing one segment of the community, i.e. the rich elite white folk, right? So now on the flip side, here we are with a Progressive Labour Party who is supporting basically an attack on a minority within our community and supporting the majority. So basically what we're saying is is that a government can stay in power as long as it licks the boots of the majority.
Actually,
And not the entire encompassing percentile of our community.
Actually, that brings me up to another good point. This is a worrying case because you actively have a government going after a minority group. Now, a lot of people have the misconception that democracy means that the people rule, that majority rule, whatever majority wants takes place. That's not true. The origins of democracy 4,000 or 5,000 years ago, all the way back in Athens, was the people elect officials who then take the needs of the minority and the majority and make sure that everybody plays nice together and they vote on policies to put forward. Now, I'm not saying that's not happening in general, but sometimes you don't give the majority what they want because a lot of times the majority can want the wrong thing. I mean, I hear this from a lot of PLP supporters that, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. If you really think about it, if America listened to the majority back in the 60s, you think black people would still have rights? You think black people have rights today? If the majority had been convinced? Do you think slavery would have been made illegal by the British Empire if the minority was taken into consideration? Do you these are things groundbreaking things that happen because the majority of the population is not ignored, but the government has chosen to go the route of morality rather than majority.
Yeah.
And the problem with what's going on now is you have, I can't say the full government because not every minister is going to gangsters, but you have a government minister who is elected to take care of the needs of the minority and the majority, significantly attacking the minority.
No, I understand that Ms. Kim Wilson has said, it's a private matter, it doesn't involve the PLP.
Everything you do is a public matter. When you're a politician, nothing you have is private anymore. Unfortunately, that's just how it is, especially with Bermuda being this big. There is no such thing as privacy. Everything you do, believe me, I know this full hand how you have no privacy.
Yeah, but forget privacy.
Don't tell me that something's a privacy issue when, I'm sorry, but your privacy was forfeit when you won that seat.
No, forget privacy. Privacy is the secondary issue. The main issue is that I'm paying me, and you, and anyone who pays taxes is paying her a sizable wage to focus on matters of state, matters of this country. What she does in her private life, sure, by all means. But if you're going to be working in a capacity where you feel as though you can take on other jobs, even though we're paying you full-time, then I demand that you be moved to a part-time minister.
And she's the health minister, yes?
Yeah, she is.
What has the health minister said or done to address, I don't know, the fact that Bermuda has the highest diabetes rate in the world?
Well, she hasn't really taken an open stance on health-related issues as of yet.
Well,
ironically.
I'm sorry. Wait a second. Let me.
Because I remember the biggest thing, one of the biggest gripes I heard when going to the PLP's rallies and going to these youth forums that they had was people talking about mental health. Mental health issues not being addressed in Bermuda.
We haven't heard much from education and mental health.
But my thing is, mental health, or the things that your constituents have blatantly asked you for while you're canvassing, should be the main and first priority you do before you even look at another case. Let alone a case of that magnitude, let alone a case going against a minority. So to me, it doesn't make any sense. It's not making any sense to me that I would pay you upwards of $100,000 to take on separate cases when you're in time. No, we pay you so that your time is ours. As a full-time minister, your time is ours.
We're on day 69 of 100. Actually, no. I think we're past that.
We're past 69.
We're past that.
We are past 69.
So 69 days. Well, okay, let's say 75 because we're past. That was on the 26th. It's now the 3rd.
Yeah.
We're well past that. The only thing I've heard from the health minister has nothing to do with health.
In fact, maybe I'm looking at the wrong road because but I haven't heard much from Ms. Kim Wilson at all, actually. No.
You know, we have heard some from, but I've heard a lot from Wayne Keynes.
Yeah.
In his efforts to, curb gang violence. That's great.
But Mr. Wayne Keynes has been working in that aspect before he was in the House.
Is what I'm saying. So, like I said, this isn't an attack on the entire government because there's a handful of them that I'm okay with that are doing their job. But the problem is,
for me, it is.
well, okay. When you got there's to say you got 12 people rowing the boat. If one person is rowing slower than everybody else, what happens? The boat turns, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it will.
Okay, because one side's going faster than the other. So it's visible when someone's, just not doing what they're supposed to be doing, or doing stuff that doesn't really. Look, frankly, as far as I'm concerned, y'all can disagree with me or not, but as far as I'm concerned, actually, no, both of us have come to this consensus. But as far as we're concerned here, if you are an elected official, you are a minister, you are a civil servant of the people, I don't want to see you doing nothing other than your job. Like, I'm sorry. If you own a business and you get, you step down from the head of that business, but you still receive profit from that, I'm not going to knock you for that because you're still doing your job. However, if you are elected to a position of government, a position of power, a position of influence, why are you taking court cases?
You can do what you like if you're part-time.
This is what I'm saying. I don't give a damn what you do, but why are you working on something that has nothing to do with you? Is this connected to mental health? I mean, because technically speaking, homosexuality hasn't been considered a mental health issue since the 1800s, well, 1970s.
No. Bottom line is that you have a party that is pledged to reduce costs of Parliament,
But
and pledged to give their undivided 100% effort into reforming Bermuda for the people. And what I have seen is though cabinet size has decreased, its price has increased.
It's pretty much like they took the leftover money that the other cabinet members were making and just added it to their paychecks.
Yeah, and then for those out there that are saying, "Oh well, this is OBA talking points. This is exactly what the opposition attacked you with. This is you guys pandering to the OBA." No, we're not pandering. But at the end of the day, we said this about independent MPs. We've said this about OBA MPs, and now we're saying it about PLP MPs. You should not be taking other jobs in office as a full-time MP. I'm sorry. If she wanted to take the case, then she should have went to Premier Burt, or better yet, as leader of his bloody party, he should have went to her and said, well, if you want to take that case, then I'm going to have to move you to a part-time minister. That way, you're not taking those taxpayer money to go and gallivant and do what you want to do on the side. Because I'm going to tell you this now. Any other employer who is paying you full-time and they said to you that this job has to be your main priority, and then they see that you have a bunch of other priorities, most employers not going to want to have that. Because then what happens is you start getting run down. You're working multiple jobs. Now, normal people can do that because they have to. But if you're making upwards of $100,000, you don't have to. You are choosing, because of your personal beliefs, to go after this case. And that's fine. But that means your personal beliefs also mean that our taxpayers' money should still come to you for a full-time capacity when you are clearly working in a part-time one. Which to me is a question of your integrity. Okay? And that makes me question the integrity of your party, because they allow you to do this stuff. And as long as they're allowing you to take those full-time paychecks, then I question all of them. I don't know what's been going on inside your caucus meetings. Maybe some disagree with you taking that full-time wage. But to me, it doesn't look good at all. Especially when I see Mr. Burke pulling in MP wage Premier wage and Minister of Finance wage. So right now, it's not looking too hot for me. Now, I don't know, the PLP diehards might say I'm just peddling OBA talking points, which is fine, but you have to understand and value your own money and your own taxpayer money. So make your own decision based on that. That's your money. Do you feel like your money's being well invested? If you do, then just don't worry about me then. But I don't. So I don't. Not at all.
I'm just a little concerned about the whole thing, because it's just like, on top of that, why is homosexual marriage such a big deal that our ministers even have to?
Well, we'll beat that.
I know we really have, but it's just like, really? Is it that much of a problem that our ministers have to?
That's a chip in the issues, because at the end of the day, they have promises. They made promises, 100-day promises, that no one compelled them to do. They chose to do this in their platform, which, by the way, came out late, right? Even though you guys were opposition for 5 years, you didn't have a platform to run on. And then you need committees when you should have been doing that while you was opposition. And all I see is while you're in office is a bunch of waffling, all right? Because honestly, nothing's changed. And I don't expect rapid change, but I expected an outline of changes to come. I know things don't change overnight, but what I have seen is pandering to one base, and we had that before. Okay, we had that before, where one base was focused on and the other one was left to the wayside. But at this point, the OBA government actually was cheaper than the current PLP one. Now, they can refute these numbers. I know what's in there. The Attorney General said, oh, don't mislead the people, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, the numbers kind of speak for themselves. They really do. And I feel like as a health minister, I think that we as a people should demand that she be moved to part-time or she drops that case. There is no discussion necessary on it, really. It's the only thing I see. So I demand that she
the health minister focus on health?
Yeah, pick one.
Please do.
Pick one.
Because we need a good health minister. Bermuda's, health is not good. It's not. The highest diabetes rate. We have a mental health population.
Not very supportive.
Not very supportive. We eat crap. Look at what a daily Bermuda eats compared to people in other parts of the world. It's disgusting. But
yeah,
I want better.
Looking into availability and affordability for healthy foods. I understand that a sugar tax is on the table, but if you're going to tax sugary foods that are cheaper, you need to find a way to make healthier food more affordable. Now that's going to be a hard task, but that's what we pay you full time to figure out.
Mm-hmm. No, we don't pay you to investigate and do cases against gay marriage
or to challenge the Supreme Court on your spare time, because that looks very professional on an MP's part.
Mm-hmm. Significantly.
Well, either way, before I get too hyped on her, I'm going to close it out. Hey, it's been this type of news. I'm Dutch Pyramid.
Is it too much to ask for the ministers to just do their jobs? Is it?
Apparently. Apparently it is.
Well, shit.